In this video, I'm going to explain how to essentially fall in love with doing hard things and how to fall in love with doing hard work so that you can basically do what you need to do to get rich and become successful. It's going to take me just over 20 minutes to explain how to do this. It's worked for me. It's made me nearly $30 million. It will work for you if you apply it, but you have to watch this video. It's 20 minutes long. If your attention span is so bad that you can't even watch a 20-minute video, then there's no point in you even trying to be successful. So full screen the video, notifications off. Let's get into it. Let's go. I love work and I love discipline, and I am thoroughly addicted to doing painful, hard things. You might think right now that that's impossible. How could someone love work? How could someone, constantly, consistently do the right behaviors? Because if you look at your life, the chances are is you find it easy to do easy things, where you could sit and you could play a video game for 12 hours. You could sit and binge watch a Netflix series for 10 hours. You could sit and, drink with your friends for 6 hours. Like, you have got the tools, the mental tools to focus and do things. Because think about the last time that you binge watched a series, or the last time that you scrolled on short form for 4 hours, or the last time that you played a video game or did anything that was bad for you. Like, you were locked in. You have the capacity to focus, and you have the capacity to, consistently do things. Because if I asked you, do you think you could consistently eat a cheeseburger for dinner every day for the next 30 days? Of course you could. Do you think you could consistently watch pornography every day for the next 30 days? Of course you could, right? These things that are easy to do, that stimulate us heavily in the short term, that are bad for us, you can do them. So you have the habit of consistency and focus. You just have it in the wrong place. And so what we need to do is we need to take all of this potential energy here, which is basically focus and consistency, which you're putting onto bad things, and we just need to sort of replace it and put it on good things. And the question becomes, how do we do this? Because I'm going to share with you my experience on how I did this. Because when I think back to, my career as an entrepreneur and as a business person and making money online, I've made nearly $30 million. And I find it incredibly easy to work. Like, the first thing that I want to do when I wake up in the morning is get to my desk and work on bloody painful things like product builds, team builds, call reviews, like stuff that really sucks, like things that you wouldn't necessarily want to wake up and do. And the same thing is true with the gym. Like, I love going to the gym. Okay, you can't tell. I like going to the gym, right? And I don't have any qualm or difficulty getting my ass out of the house and in the gym. And, I find it easy. Same thing, I'm on a very strict carnivore diet. I literally only eat red meat, and I find it easy, and I want to do the hard things. So how do we do this? Well, I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to take your mind, and I'm going to just bang, we're going to explode it, right? So here is how it works. So you have your psychology, okay? And we're just going to call this yourself. So you have a self-image, right? And this is who you think you are, okay? Your name, what you look like, your driver's license, etc. But here's the thing, is psychology is a little bit more nuanced than this, okay? And I'm going to show you how to use psychology and your self-image to manipulate your motivation circuits so that you just want to do the hard things. Because if you do that, like, getting rich is really bloody easy, and making millions of dollars is really, really, really easy if you just figure out how to do the hard things. It's not about making money, it's about figuring out how to do the hard things that make money. Here we go. You are what we would call a multifaceted psychological animal. And what that means is you are not just one person, you are a collection of people. Now, I'm not here to diagnose you with bipolar personality disorder, and I'm not here to tell you you've got schizophrenia and that there's lots of different versions of you. I'm just here to tell you something honest. Have you ever had it before where you swear on your life, you swear to yourself that you're going to do something, and then you don't do it, or you do the opposite? Like, maybe you're like, I promise I will not, you say on Wednesday, I will not drink this weekend with my friends, or I will not go to that naughty website and consume that naughty content, or I will not eat the junk food, or I will not, like, you probably have these conversations with yourself, right? But then Friday, Saturday rolls around, maybe even the following evening or 3 hours later, before you know it, you're engaging in the bad behavior that you swore so solemnly and had so much conviction you weren't going to do. This happens a lot, and this is a sign that you have got multiple parts of you. And what this means is, inside of your psychology, you have fragments of identity. And instead of looking at yourself as a whole being of just, I am Charlie Morgan or I am one person, you need to start looking at these different versions of you. And I'm going somewhere with this, and just stick around before you get confused and click off the video, because it's a little bit above, your usual pay grade of YouTube content. Let me explain. So what these things do, these people here, if I just link this up, is they produce emotions, okay? And emotions are basically, things that bubble up from our unconscious. And Jung, who was a psychologist, he believed that we have these little sub-personalities in a place called the shadow. Now, we're not going to go into the depths and the darkness of unconscious psychology because it's a scary place to go, and you're probably just here for a good time now to make some money. But what you need to realize is, buried under your conscious awareness, imagine that your body is like a puppet. You have got multiple puppet masters in your unconscious that basically produce thoughts and actions. And the way that they produce these thoughts and actions is through emotion. So if you have ever just had a random urge to do something that is just come out of nowhere, like, emotions don't just appear. They're not just these weird things that come out of the ether. They are an effect. There has to be a cause behind them. And so when you have the impulse, or when you have the weird random urge out of nowhere to listen to a nostalgic song from 7 years ago, these emotions, they come from somewhere, and they come from the shadow. And the shadow is a composition of all these little parts of you, and they're like pulling the strings. It's like if one part of you, let's say that this part here, now this, we could label this as, let's say, status Charlie. What might happen is I might be sat minding my own damn business at 9:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon like it is now. And I might get the urge, the sudden impulse out of nowhere to go on Instagram and, post a picture of how much money I made yesterday in my business. And it's a weird thing because no one ever questions where these things come from. But if you take a second to separate the impulse and the emotion from the action, there's a gap. There's this little bit of space that you can apply some conscious reason and say, well, what am I trying to do here? Like, why do I have an emotion, an impulse, an urge to suddenly post on Instagram? And it's basically a part of your psychology wants status, right? Or it wants love, or it wants approval, or it wants attention, okay? And so what we can recognize is that inside of your head and inside of your unconscious, we have these sub-personalities. And basically, these sub-personalities, they all want and they all need something. And really, the key word here is need. They all have needs. Okay, so one of them could be, you could have a need for status, you could have a need for achievement, you could have a need for love, you might have a need for freedom, or you might have a need for control, you might have a need for hope. This is a big one, right? Have you ever had the impulse? You probably have. Have you ever had the impulse at like 2 a.m. to just start watching motivational videos and suddenly start feeling some hope in your life that everything's going to be okay and that you're actually going to make it work? Why the hell does that happen, and where does it come from? Comes from these places. Here's how you do this, and here's how to make work easy, because I figured out how to do this, and my God, does it work. So what you do is you become aware of your emotions, and you become aware of, why the hell did you click on this video? You saw this video about how to become disciplined, how to do hard work. It may not have been a strong emotional response, but an impulse, an unconscious impulse led to you clicking on this video without you even consciously being aware of it. Why the hell did that happen? Well, that's an indication that a deep part of you, a deep-rooted, unconscious part of you wants to be disciplined. It wants to have self-control. And so what you can start doing is you start labeling, these different people, okay? And, you could have 10, you could have 3. I have one, I know that I have a part of me that craves status, and it craves this absolute desire to show people that I'm successful. There's another part of me that's narcissistic, that wants attention and views. And a lot of these things that you look at, they're not going to be these beautiful, happy, shiny things that you want to reveal about yourself to the world. They can be quite dark. They can be quite, they can be pretty down and dirty sometimes. You might not like them. But basically, what you do is, the first step is you label them. So you figure out, usually you're going to have 2 to 3 really, really, really strong ones. Ones that just seem to be the guiding North Star of your life. Your entire life is engineered towards these couple of things. And if you're not sure what the number 1 or number 2 need is, well, you don't have to look much further than your behavior. Let's say that you spend 4 hours a day watching isolated survival videos on YouTube. And you're watching these guys survive, and they're in the middle of the wilderness, there's no one around. Well, this would be a deep unconscious drive for introversion. And the way that these needs work is, if they're not being met in your life, they will try to be met elsewhere. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have no friends, or few to no friends, or that you are living an isolated life, and that there's a deep extroverted side of you that wants a friend, but you don't have any in your personal life. What your unconscious will do, this puppet master, is it will direct your behavior, typically digitally or online, to a place where it can get what it needs. And so this is why, for example, people watch streamers.
And this is why people have these parasocial relationships with influencers and people that stream every day like Kyson at iShowSpeed. It's having a friend. And it's hanging out with a group of people that are all friends with this person. And so people that often watch streamers, they can be quite lonely. And it doesn't take a genius to figure this out, because if you learn how to control these needs and you learn where these parts of you naturally go when they're not getting what they want, you can really start to puppet the puppeteers, if that makes sense. And once you become conscious of these things by basically just labeling them, for example, if I suddenly got the impulse, if I was here in Dubai over the summer, no one's here in the summer in Dubai. And I am a extroverted and introverted person. So I like my own space a lot of the time, but I also like being around people. So I'm an ambivert. The problem is, if I go too far to the introversion side, then I start looking for elsewhere. If I'm not around anyone or seeing anyone, I'll start naturally having the weird impulse to call my brother or my sister. Or I'll want to spend 3 hours on the phone with my family or my friends or something. Or I'll book a trip to Thailand to go to some entrepreneur retreat, which I've actually never done. But these are the places you start getting a bit weird, right? And so you label them. For example, I would label that as, okay, well, there is extroverted Charlie who clearly needs something that he's not getting. But here's the cake. Here's the cake. What you do is you label, like I said, the top 2 to 3 needs that you have. The ones that are just so consistent. So, if you spend a lot of your time watching rapping videos and watching entrepreneur lifestyle videos, and you're watching people with the chains and the cars and the houses and the flexes and the girls, analyze that and ask yourself, why the hell are you watching that? And I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, why are you watching it? What is it that you want? Do you want the status? Why do you want the status? Is it because you want attention from women because you didn't get it when you were a kid? Is it because you want other high value friends that make you feel gratified? Is it because you want some financial freedom, you want to be in control? And you need to figure this out. And here's what you do: is you suppress and redirect. So once you know the need, instead of acting it out and getting it in an easy place, you stop doing it. So let me give you an example. Let's say that this part of you here is intimacy. Intimacy, Charlie. So let's say that I've got a part of me unconsciously that craves intimacy and that needs intimacy. What will happen is when you need something, it manifests consciously in your mind as a want. And so, if I need intimacy, but I'm useless with women and I don't stand a chance of getting a girlfriend, or at least one that I want, then what starts to happen is this is why OnlyFans becomes rampant. Or this is why porn becomes rampant. Because the reason that people go to those platforms or those places is to try and fulfill this need in any way that they can. And so, often I feel quite sorry for guys that are addicted to porn and addicted to OnlyFans and stuff, because it's a cry for help. It's like they need intimacy, but they can't get it healthily through a girlfriend because of whatever reason. And so, they naturally go to OnlyFans or Pornhub or, wherever else to try and find a girlfriend, or the poor substitution of intimacy that, would be online sexual content. If you learn to suppress the bad behaviors. So if instead of going to this or this or this or wherever the hell, or your Discord girlfriend or whatever the hell, if you cut these away, the thing is the need, intimacy Charlie doesn't go away. Intimacy Charlie, or the version of you that is doing these bad behaviors, that is seeking the bad behaviors, it's not malevolent, it's not evil, it's not self-sabotage, it's just trying to get what it needs. It's like a dog that's really thirsty. That dog will do some pretty crazy stuff just to get a drink. It will jump in a deep river. It will drink out of dirty puddles. It will do whatever it can to get what it needs. And that doesn't mean that you judge the dog. It's just trying to get what it needs and what it wants because it has no other choice. And so once you're aware of these parts of you, if you suppress the negative behavior and you find a substitution, what you can do is you can redirect all of this energy, because this is really what it is it's energy. It's unconscious potential to force your body and decision-making capability towards an outcome that fulfills the need. And if you suppress and redirect, you can take this energy and you can put it into something healthy. And so this is my favorite strategy, and this sort of circles back around as to why I love work so much, okay? Because, work for me gives me basically everything that I need. So a few of my, I can give you some of my basic needs that I have. So I obviously have a need for status. I have a need for attention. I have a need for progress. These are some, I have a need for friendships. Okay, have a need for, like, you have all these needs, right? And here's the cool thing, is what I did is instead, like, here's the thing, if I'm not careful, if I let this status thing run rampant, I'm going to be flexing on Instagram, I'm going to be buying Lamborghinis, I'm going to be wearing $100,000 watches, I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff for the status. But when I restrict and inhibit the low-level, easy stuff to get, I can redirect that status energy to something else. And where do I redirect it to? Work. I negotiated with my unconscious, and I said, if you want to get what you need, you must get it through your achievement and through your name, not through your material gain. And this is an absolute life hack, because my unconscious now understands that all of the typical status symboling objects are off limits. Like, we cannot go there, right? I have the house, right, which is a bit of a cope. I won't lie, 30 grand a month mansion on the Palm is, I'm not perfect, don't blame me. But for the most part, all of my status energy has been redirected into work. And so what this means is that my unconscious now understands that if it wants to get status, it can only get it through the business. And this is how you get a filthy, filthy work ethic, because to you, if you have a need for status, watching lifestyle content and scrolling through, Auto Trader or like car websites on the car you want to buy and looking at the watches and videos on the watches you want to buy, that's easy. It doesn't feel difficult to do things when they fulfill a need. There's no pain involved in it. It doesn't feel like there's any resistance towards watching the lifestyle content. It doesn't feel like it's difficult for you to observe, the rapping videos and the status, and to shut your eyes and imagine yourself on the red carpet. Like, that's easy. And so the same thing is true when a deep part of you knows that it has to go through the work to get what it wants. Work becomes really easy, and you want to work. Like these YouTube videos, right? The second one is attention. So a deep part of me, for whatever reason, wants attention. Maybe it was because I was bullied as a kid or didn't have a girlfriend until I was 18. I don't know. Strikes quite hard. But, part of me wants attention. And this used to manifest with me posting on my personal Instagram and like flexing and, being on Snapchat and all this crap. And I basically cut away everything that was considered, expedient or frivolous or like low-level, shallow attention. And I started this YouTube channel. And so now the only way that my attention need can be satiated is through this channel. And guess what? That makes making videos really easy. This is why I don't want to do bad behaviors, because when you start adding these bad things back in, for example, I used to use dating apps, right? And dating apps, if you know what you're doing and you have a bit of money behind you, and you've got some experience in the dating space, dating apps become very easy. And it's incredibly easy to get the attention of girls on dating apps if you know what you're doing. And I did it for so long, I got very good at it. And the second I removed the dating app thing for female attention, I went all in on YouTube. Like my energy for YouTube just skyrocketed. And I was like, why the hell do I want to make so many YouTube videos at the moment? And I was like, oh, it's because, I just want the attention of people and I'm not getting it through this thing. So it's being redirected into this other thing. And so you kind of what's it called? It's like you transmutate or something, like the energy. Another example is progress. So, this is why I don't play video games. So I used to be addicted to video games. And when you play video games, a deep part of you might need to feel a sense of progress towards an objective, right? Because that kind of, for a young man, that can really reduce anxiety, and it can really make you feel like you've got something to anchor yourself against in the world because you've got a goal, you're moving towards it. Trajectory makes you feel very relaxed and comfortable. And so, really progress is basically just like a sensation that you have utility and that you're actually useful, right? And so that's a pretty deep need. And so when I removed every other aspect of progress in my life, like video games, for example, or there's not really many other examples I can think of right now, but or like a casual sport or something, it all went into my work and into the gym and stuff. And I'm not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but I work out consistently, and I find the dietary discipline and I find the workout discipline. It's all easy. It's so easy for me to train and work out. I don't have to drag myself to do. I want to go. And the reason I want to go, and the reason I want to eat clean and eat healthily, and the reason I never skip a day is because this part of me, it has to do it. These things here, these little parts of you that, sit inside of your brain and your unconscious, what they need is non-negotiable. They basically these needs have to be met, right? This is why, psychopaths are so dangerous, like serial killers are so dangerous, because, serial killers, they have this cursed need to kill, right? Which is not good, but they find it easy and they find it fun and it's all messed up, right? But, that need never goes away. It's the same thing with PDF files. I'm so trying to not get monetized here. It's the same thing with those people. Like, it's this horrible, malevolent, evil need that just sits in them. It's like an evil. And you can't get rid of it. It's really, maybe you can, I don't know. But the same thing is true with people who are like, let's say you're an alcoholic. And, why are you an alcoholic? It's like, well, maybe it's because, you have a need to forget some trauma or something. And what will happen often with people who quit alcohol is they'll end up going into, you either have post-traumatic growth or you have post-traumatic, slumps where if you quit alcohol, then suddenly maybe you're doing drugs now, or maybe you're running ultra marathons to forget the pain. It's like this energy, it has to go somewhere. And all I'm suggesting that you do is you remove the things that are easy and you negotiate with your brain to say, sorry, mate, not happening. If you want to get that, and if you want to fulfill this need, you have to go through the work. You have to go through the gym. You have to go through the clean diet. You have to go through the reading the books. Like, it's pretty straightforward. This stuff, it goes deeper. I could make a 5-hour video on shadow transmutation, and it goes a lot deeper than this, but this is the basic core premise. Another example is friends. So, I'm a social person to a degree, and I have a deep inbuilt need for social connection. Some of you do, some of you don't, right? Because that's the extrovert in me. And what I did is I basically now work with my friends. Like my business partners, like a brother to me, and my 3 closest mates all work for me. Or I don't want to say for me, it's a bit of a power move, but they all work with me. One of them is a partner in the business. The other 2 are high-end executive sales reps, so they work with me in that regard. They run their own companies and then they contract to us. And that means that I'm now with my friends. I'm working with my friends. And I wouldn't recommend you do this, by the way, until you're at a higher level of entrepreneurship, because if you're managing your friends, you're screwed. But I have a manager who manages the people so that I don't have to manage them, if that makes sense. So my 2 friends that work in our sales team, I'm not managing them directly. I'm not having to tell them off or incentivize them. My sales manager does that, so I'm not managing them. I work with them, but I'm not their boss, if that makes sense in that regard. That's how you make that work. But that means that I don't have a need for some crazy social life, because I can get it on Slack. I can get it in my team meetings. I get it at work. And so all I've basically done is, over the last really 7 years, is I've found every way possible to take every single base, shadow, but unconscious need that I have and channel it into work, and use work as the mechanism and the tool to fulfill the needs. If you can do this, you will not want to stop working. The problem that I have now is it gets a bit stressful sometimes. I cannot stop. It's nearly, what's the time? It's 8, 9 p.m. It's Friday night. It's 8:30, 9 p.m. I'm going to be working for 3 more hours. I just love it. I can't get enough of it. And it's the same thing with all these difficult things that I do that most people would consider really hard. I just fucking love them. And I have a problem not doing them. And it pays really well. And I'm pretty sure my theory is correct, and that this will make me a billionaire in the next, I don't know how many decades that might take, right? But if you've ever looked at people and you just wondered to yourself, how the hell does that guy just not stop? Why is he so motivated and consistent? And motivation and consistency are byproducts of base needs. And if you're meeting the need, the prime example is if you want a friendship circle, but you're watching Twitch live streams every day, or you hang out with your RuneScape clan every day, you're getting what you need. So why your psychology will not justify an additional energetic expense to make friends in real life when you're already satiating the need on RuneScape or on League of Legends or on Discord. Just won't. It's the same thing if you're subscribed to an OnlyFans girl and you talk to her every day and she sends you little messages and it's all cute and you go to bed and you're like, oh, I've got this online girlfriend. Your body and your mind is not going to justify the additional energetic expense to go and actually find a proper girlfriend. It just won't, because it's already getting what it needs. Your body and your mind, its only job is to spend as few calories as possible and essentially to be as lazy as possible and fulfill its needs in the easiest way possible. It'll make you millions. Bye.